Check. All right, Jen, this is a multi-part series on how to do social media. I don't know how much you know or don't know, but this is just going to be kind of hopefully an introductory kind of thing, but I think you can probably figure out most of this. So we're going to start with Squarespace and the website. So first thing, let me go to an overview of just how the website is laid out right now. So this is the actual website, and when you go to it, it's at www.schoolofboom.com, and this is basically what you see, and you can scroll down and we have all this information. Okay, you got to understand that. So we have up here is our pages. We can add pages, subtract pages. This is just how we've laid it out. If you notice, we have all this text. This text was written before we opened, so we are open to potentially changing any of that text or anything like that. Okay, but we try to make a sales kind of thing, so we can make it really simple for people to understand who we are and what we do, so they can make a decision if we're for them. Okay, so let's go through it really quick. Let me start with about, and then we'll come back to these, all right? So about basically tells you a general overview of who we are, our vision, things like that. It's so somebody can click and know exactly what we are. It really needs a lot more information. It could use photos. You should be able to be here and really get an idea. The problem is when we did this, we didn't have any footage of our actual dance classes. Okay, then St. Louis, then the teachers. These teachers really, really need a lot more. I'm not sure if we should all be in burlesque costumes or not, or if you guys should have standard uniform and we should get some better photos of you guys just looking like teachers like you would be in the classes. Okay, but if you look, we don't have hardly anything in the way of bios, so it makes it not very exciting or something like that. All right, and it could even say a little more about our philosophy of teachers. Okay, contact. Contact usually on web pages is all about where we are located, how to get a hold of us. At this time, we were using the Boom Boom number, and Brandy is answering the phone. We could change that if we wanted to and have that, you know, as we talked about, get a phone number to you. But right now, it definitely, we're going to do that for at least a month or something like that. You can also get a hold of us through email. I want to set this up so it goes to the schoolofboom@gmail.com, and I'll talk to you about that in another video. But they would fill this out and would come to them. I could make it go to there and forward to you and Brandy at the same time. So when we did get it, you would know it. But I would hope that you would, you know, get that on your phone, and it would be one of the many emails that you could access on your phone to contact people right away. Okay, now we go into the St. Louis Dance blog. This is like when you guys do classes, it'd be great if you uploaded a video on YouTube, okay, of just a little snippet, and then you write a paragraph about it in here, because it's a great way to keep us ranking, and we'd like to tell our story. We should tell it. This is like the backstage of like what we're doing, what our plans are, and who we are, and all that kind of stuff. All right, photos. When we get photos, we should start uploading them. The reason is because if you have photos and you name them like St. Louis Dance School, like this is us dancing at the Dance School of St. Louis, and people look for dance schools in St. Louis, then we come up. And when they look for images, then these images come up like awesomeness. I mean, just really great in Google searches. So that's this. So yeah, it's about the teachers, how to contact us, our blog. Now, where are our classes? Here. When you make a class, this is where they end up. When you make a graphic, they're supposed to be kind of square. So if you make that, I think they're rectangle here and square in the other place. So you kind of want to make them so they're in the middle. That's why this particular thing is getting cut off. So the idea is you make it so it could be rectangle or square. So you just put padding on the sides, so when it goes in the square, it works also. Hope that makes sense. So how to make graphics. Okay, we need a style for these things. We want to use the same font. I don't know if, we should have what the look should be, but we're trying to make it look more educational and more dance class and less burlesque, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, so then that's where all the dances go out. So every time you sign one up, it goes, and here's what happens. You come into here, I don't know if you've ever been there, and it has all this information that you enter and a picture, and these are all the different days. You may have to put those in there right now. These are the only ones, and this is on the graphic. So if you add more days, they will not be on this graphic, so you'd have to make a new graphic. So a generic graphic without the days is better because then they come up. This, if you make a product, it will not put these days in here. You would have to put them in the description. However, when you go, like you select a workshop, when you add more days, it comes up here. I'm showing you this now so you just understand, okay? I'm not sure if these Twitter things are all set up properly. So someone comes in to buy, they go, which date do I want? I want February 28th. So as you add more dates on that particular class, then they will add up. But if you want it seen on this graphic, you'd have to put it here. If you want it seen here, you have to put it here. Then if you want it on the calendar, you would have to put it here manually in this calendar. So really, if I were you, I would make graphics that don't have the dates on them. Okay, so when they go there, but it does help if you have the extra time to do it, it does help, and it does help to hear. This is the description. Okay, so the dance classes get listed under here, and then you have to put them in the calendar here. The reason I'm going over this so many times is because see, we have nothing on the calendar, and we know we need to have things 3 months in advance for them to sell properly. All right, so now we're going to go into how to do the actual Squarespace. So the way you get to Squarespace is you go up here to squarespace.com. All right, then you're going to log in. It's not going to be this page, and log in with the the School of Boom. STL, isn't that right, Brandy? Yeah. It'll get the School of Boom, STL at gmail.com. No, you're going to log into all of our websites with the Boom Boom Room. The Boom Boom Room STL at gmail.com, which you'll have, and then the passcode that I've given you that I don't want to be public. All right, when you get there, you're going to choose, you're going to go to websites. There'll be a list, will say websites. You get to websites and see this is the School of Boom page. So you click here. Now, right now, what I'm going to do is just kind of give you a general overview of the back end of the website. All right, now this is where I wanted you to click through. So you can click on these, but this is kind of like what you're not going to do. But what happens is when you go to pages, you can edit this stuff. Okay, let's say you want to edit here, you hit this edit button, and look how easy it is. If I don't want that to say gentlemen, I could type something in and say, and midgets. Oh, you're not supposed to say that. All right. Anyway, that's why this is not public. So you could type here, you could put things, and then these little dots allow you to enter things. So you go up here, and let's say you want to enter text, you can add text. If you want to enter an image or a video, and what you do is you just make a page and you practice and you just play with the page and delete it. And that's how you learn. At the very end, you have to hit the save button. Okay, so let me go through this whole little thing. Orders, all right? I'm going to go. These are all of our orders. Isn't this cool? You can see the orders, and there's the emails of the people and the orders we got, all right? I don't know why it says they're pending. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. All right, so then here's some other stuff that's fun. Let me go down here to analytics. So you check this every week. This is sales since, and you can put the last 30 days. So let's just go year to date, weekly, and it gives you a graph, and this averages it of what we're doing. Of course, year to date, considering it's not a whole lot because it's this year. So let's go back to, we'll do last 30 days. God, are you? And we can do custom 3 months or whatever. But anyway, let's do daily. and it's showing you sales, right? And it's showing you like we had how much, and this is in revenue, right? So if you want traffic, this is a fun one. This shows you how many people are getting to the website. And if you look, in January, we had a whole lot of people, like 119 on the 14th. So this is probably our ad campaign when it was working really well. The fact that this thing has really laid low, I think, also, I think this is when I was paying a lot of money to advertise on Facebook. I did a big push to get things started, right? And then we've been doing $10 a day, and you could see, like, look at this, a fifth, we got 65 people. This is a direct reflection of mostly people who are coming on Facebook. So if you look, you can look down here, how many mobile users we have by source. 60% of our people, you probably can't see that on your web browser, 60% are coming through Facebook. That's this whole square here. Direct, that's like maybe they Googled it, or like a Google search, 6%. So only 6% are Googling us to get there. Isn't that crazy? All right, so we can look at other traffic things, like here's traffic, yeah, and shit, excuse my French. Sales, purchase funnel. This has to do with like what's happening. So like out of 980 visits, 709 people viewed the product, which means probably a lot of these people, these 709 were actually interested. Out of those are probably like web viewers, and they come in, and then 21 started the checkout and 15 actually purchased. So sometimes people just want to know how much the stuff costs, so they stick it in there just to see. That's why you get it. So if you look at this chart here, you could see the web funnel of like how it's, how many people are like visiting and how many are actually turning into sales, and you start formulating your website based on that. All right, so I'm going fast, I know. All right, we can see like how many people abandon the cart, traffic sources, so we can see that. Here's a fun one, Google search keyword. This is what, then when you start posting, you start going, which words are people actually searching for? All right, so if you look, people have been looking for the number one, which was only 3 clicks, like only 9% coming, were burlesque classes St. Louis. Okay, so they were looking for burlesque classes in St. Louis. So there are people looking, it's just not a massive amount of people. Hula hoop lessons, funny. Beginner pole dancing classes near me, dance bars. For some reason, we came up under dance bars. Boom School, don't know why. Boom STL, welcome to burlesque. I don't know why, but somebody probably put welcome to burlesque and it was something else. Anyway, it's fun. You start seeing what people are actually searching to find. Burlesque classes, hula hoop lessons. All right, so cool. Anyway, you can play around with that. It's really fun. You can spend like 2 hours in there. So settings, I'll just go through this really quick. You won't really mess with this, but you might. This just has to do with like our business information and like what the name of the site is, our street address, and this is where we would change our phone number when we get to that point. All right. The rest of that stuff is just really complicated. Now, next thing is I want to go into how we actually do it. Wait, this is our customers. These are discounts. You're never going to really mess with that. What is commerce, Brandy? Yeah, okay, so this is like the orders that we could see under commerce. Inventory. This isn't where you make, is this where you make inventory? Yes, all right. All right, so let's go back and look under inventory, all right? Inventory, isn't this right? This is where you're gonna make or add classes, correct? So this is where it is. To make one, you would hit add. First, let me just show you, like, if you're gonna add a Show Me Confidence class and you already have one and we're keeping everything basically the same, you go to this Show Me Confidence class, it shows you the 3 that are there. So you're going to go into there. All right, now just pluck around on all these things so you can duplicate this, right? In order to add more class dates, you'd go to pricing and variants and you hit this plus button and you would put the day. Brandy has some kind of code here that she uses. You probably figure it out. It's like the day or whatever to give it a code. What's that? It's basically the date. And then, so then you would add this, and then it would give you that little drop-down menu I showed you on the website. It would add another one on there. All right. So if you're making one from scratch, you can look at these, see how they're done. You can even copy a lot of this stuff, just keep the same formats. But we have a title, with a price, all right? And this is hard to read, so we usually write this somewhere else, and then we copy it in here. But you can create this, and you can make this bold and do some things with it. But this is it. But again, it's better to do it, like to take one of these and change them if you're going to do it. But see how, let's say you added something, I don't know, August 21st, which is my birthday. Then you're just going to add that, you know, Sunday, August 21st, blah, blah, blah. And when these pass by, you can delete these, okay? So that's kind of like what we want you to do, is keep up with that inventory. And really, you should be 2 to 3 months in advance. So we should really be filling up, you know, all the days, all the way to May. All right. So I don't know how to do these things, but right now the social media is here. But usually you would be able to add it and then throw it up on the website. Okay, the form is really complicated. That's what Brandy does. All right. Okay, but this is the item. This is the thing, when I say you do this, you're going to want to make it square. So what you can do, before you're making these, you can go to the actual website and look how this stuff is coming. See how it comes up square here, and it comes up different here? So you either design 2 different ones, they're square and rectangle, or you make it so it works in both. All right? That's it. So flick around there, and let me just hit save. That's the general idea. You may still need help, and that's okay. But remembering that that is under inventory. So after you do the inventory, you would go to pages, and you would go into class calendar. And I will go more into how to do pages in a second. And you have to add that thing to that day. All right? Now, the thing about this is, though, you can duplicate it. Like if you know that it's movements with Mona, hit edit, and then down here at the bottom, you could duplicate it, right? And then you would change this and this, and that would give you a new day, and it would put that there. But if you're making one of these from scratch, you are going to, let me save this, hit this plus button, and you're going to basically have to fill all this stuff out. But if you look, it's pretty easy. You just do your title. You got to make them consistent, because when they come up, first thing you want to do is just like freestyle it. Well, you can't. You got to kind of have a template somewhere in a document, and so you can read it and say, this is how I want all these to look. So you put your title in there, and you put your names, and see how you can add things just like the other things. You can add images and video and all this kind of stuff. Here's your dates. Now you go to options. This is where you add the photo. This is the photo that comes up in the list on the main page. Okay, you can have an expert for your photo. The URL is really nice. Brandy can explain that, but I think that's so when you buy it, it'll show up there. I think you need to go get, isn't that right, the event URL under the calendar? Mm-hmm. So you have to find it on the web page, correct?
I'm sorry, what event URL?
Yeah, under calendar, like they go here. How does she fill in this event URL?
Oh, that, no, that's just it, whatever, you don't pull that over.
You don't?
No.
So she doesn't fill that out?
No.
Source URL? No?
I never use any of those.
Okay. Brandy is going to sit you down, but I want you could probably do a lot of stuff, and it's okay if you make mistakes. What you do is you make a mistake, come to the website and check your work. You see some new classes and you go, oh my God, it didn't land on this year. You're going to want to click it, make sure it works, make sure it goes to the correct thing. Okay. So that's your general idea. Now I'm gonna do the second video on more detail about how to edit pages. All right. Here we go.